And welcome to the 30th episode of the New Podcast. My name is Steven, joined as always by producer extraordinaire and co-host even more extraordinaire. What's more than extraordinaire? Extraordinary Kelly, joining me in the hot seat today. Let's get to it. Great fights last night. UFC going down last night. Probably one of the best cards of the year so far. With in my opinion, fight of the year with Poirier versus Holloway. We'll get to all that later on in the show. Super glad to be back in the saddle here, doing the show here. Not a whole hell of a lot of MMA news to talk to. Got some new video games, and we'll wrap up the week with everything that happened today. I think the biggest news this week, Kelly, and I think you'd have to agree on this one, would obviously be Dillashaw failing his piss test. It seemed like it was forever ago, but still the fallout still surrounding Dillashaw's failed piss test. And what a way to just ruin a dude's legacy. My gilly gully. In EPOs, like, I don't even, what is that even, Kelly?
It's basically you have to inject it. You cannot take it orally. So there's no way that you can mess up.
Wow.
That's why he's like, I'll just take the 2 year. He admitted it. He pled guilty.
Wow, yeah. That's the craziest part about it, how strict they were with him. Because this is this his second failed test? I think I want to say it's his second failed test, but either way, to knowingly inject your ass with some steroids, you know what I mean, to get that level. And everyone was wondering where TJ got that next gear from, and we found out. Cheating.
Also, as people have talked about in the past, that when you take steroids, a lot of fighters were able to take a better shot. A good example of this was Bigfoot, right?
Right.
As soon as he stopped taking it, he was done, basically, just getting knocked out. And I wonder, because Cody knocked him in the first fight, you know, before he ended up losing, getting knocked out.
Yeah.
Same with the second fight, he got knocked out. I wonder how that fight would have played out if he wasn't. If I'm not saying, like, they're not saying that you know, he was testing positive for all these other ones,
of course,
well, but they didn't keep those samples either. And this is like a new test that they have. So they weren't testing for this before.
Wow.
So they aren't able to go back to see if he was taking it before. And Brendan Schaub was actually talking about how once they got this test going, more and more people would be popped.
Wow. So the first domino has fallen in TJ Dillashaw.
Yes.
Going down.
Personally, I think he probably was taking it back when he was fighting Cody, and I wonder how that would have played out with that fight.
Yeah, big time. Oh, absolutely. If he's done it now, why wouldn't he have done it back then? You know, especially, you know, what's the craziest thing is he took it and lost to a 125er. So it's the double whammy where you lose 2 years of wages and you just got knocked out by Henry Cejudo. And now you've lost a fight, your credibility, and you'll always have that blacklist on your name as a cheater. And everyone called him out for it. Everyone had kind of told everyone about it already. Even, you know, the documented back and forth with Cody Garbrandt at that press conference, with him straight up saying how he had taught everyone else in Team Alpha Male how to use roids. And sure enough, where there's smoke, there was fire. Boom. And Dillashaw goes down. Oh, man, not looking good. Who else do you think, just like, you know what I mean, not out of the, let alone the people from his camp, but who do you think is just someone who could be the next person to test positive?
Oh, man. I don't want to say.
I think that Diego Costa, that's the thing. Diego Costa was popped with that.
Yeah.
That same thing as well.
I think anybody who looks like way too jacked, aside from maybe Jacare and, you know, like Yo Romero, those guys are just naturally huge. But I
I'm
don't know,
going
man.
Josh Barnett. Easy money. Easy money. Josh Barnett fails the next piss test.
Oh man, I wasn't even thinking about it.
I'm not gonna put you on the. I'm not gonna put you in the spot on that one. I'm not gonna put you on the spot on that. I just wanted to make a Josh Barnett. I love him. One of my favorite fighters of all time. Just get a little dig in there. Get a little dig in there, buddy. Ross Pearson, storied career that he went through, announces his retirement after 15 years of fighting. Ross Pearson calling it quits. I always loved actually Ross Pearson. Great 155. There was a one fight that really stuck out for me with him, and it was up against that Australian dude. You know, he was like a jiu-jitsu guy. Ross, the real deal, Pearson. I can't remember how far back that goes. Let's take a look here. Let's break it down. 6 degrees of separation. Ross Pearson. Oh man, George Soteropoulos. That was the guy.
Oh,
yeah, do you remember that fight? That was a really good fight. I know, and that fight was in 2012. But look how many fights the dude has had. Nothing but UFC fights. What a savvy veteran. You know, his last 7 fights, or that's one win out of his last 7. That's not a great stat, obviously, to have. But still, you know, he only got finished once or twice. Oh, sorry, he got finished twice out of those 7 fights. That's pretty damn good. You know, fighting top level competition with Will Brooks, Jorge Masvidal, Dan Hooker even. That's like he did get KO'd by Dan Hooker. Beats Hirota. Loses to John McDessie, and then loses to Desmond Green. That's just his last one. So his last win before that was Chad Laprise, tough Canadian guy. Goes a split decision with him. Francisco Tonaldi, that was a good one too. He went to decision, split decision. He's actually beat Paul Felder. That's crazy. Early on in his career, that went down in 2015. The fights are endless. Evan Dunham, he lost to Sam Stout. He KO'd. He got TKO'd by Ally Quinta. TKO's Gray Maynard. Lose a split decision to Diego Santos. That's a fight I forgot about. I can't even believe I totally forgot that they fought. When the hell did they fight? It was Henderson versus Kabalov. Wow. Long time ago. UFC 42 split decision. Goes to a no contest with Melvin Gillard. Ryan Couture beats George Soteropoulos. Loses to Cub Swanson. The list goes on. But I think that would have to be my fight that I remember him most for. Was George Soteropoulos. Good fight. I think that one actually went down. Yeah, I think they were coaches or something like that. No, I can't remember what the heck they were. But they did headline that card actually. Storied career, man. How old is he? Only 34. What an ancient dude. He's so old. Good for him that he can hang up the cleats, if you will, at a time where he's has so many fights. 20-16. Storied career goes down. What out of all these fights, which one do you think was your favorite fight, Kelly, that you can remember? For Ross Pearson, look at this list, especially for how many UFC fights he's had. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's fucking tons. Tons of UFC fights.
I like all the stand-up wars like Sam Stout and stuff.
Yeah,
like that. All
that was gonna be my other one. Yeah, I was gonna say Sam Stout too. That was a really good fight.
It's hard to pick though, man.
I think that's kind of the reason why he could hang him up now, because I think he's kind of fallen by the wayside. You know what I mean? Fighting Desmond Green's a tough dude, but that many losses, that much time. Maybe they were gonna say, hey, we're gonna release you, or you can retire one or the other, buddy, and chose the latter. Good career. Good career. One fight that I was actually surprised about, especially for both these dudes at the points of career that they are, is Diego Sanchez will take on Michael Chiesa. I think it's UFC 239.
Has he fought since he cut his eye on the bus?
Yeah, he did. He actually won at 170. That's what I was wondering. Is this fight at 170? I think it could be. Let's take a look where this where this card lies here. It's on a super stacked card. We were talking about earlier in the week. But yeah, he beat somebody. I think he actually beat Pettis, actually, I think.
Carlos Condit.
Oh, Carlos Condit.
That's right.
Yes.
I
He
forgot
lost to
about that.
Pettis. Yeah, but he just beat Carlos Condit, at 170. Huge win in his career. Is it UFC 239? Yes, it is. Yeah, it is UFC 239. But
I forgot about that fight because I love Carlos Condit, man. That traumatized me.
he blocked it from your memory.
I'm remembering it again. No.
Too funny.
Oh man, it's
I like how that fight goes down, man. I kind of thought it was so odd. A guy who's really coming up at 170.
yeah.
That's why I don't know what weight class is going to be. And Michael Chiesa, he's really on the rise. And Diego Sanchez is still with one dude we were talking about, such a storied career. We talk about another dude with one hell of a storied career who's actually somehow on the upswing as well. And I think this is a huge fight for Chiesa. Let's take a look at Diego Sanchez. Very similar record to Ross Pearson, but better, obviously, but still 29-11. Coming off 2 wins. I think that's why they give him this one. Beating Craig White and then TKOing Mickey Gall obviously was a huge fight, but even Diego Sanchez not that old, 37. Really not that old. Just kind of weird, how they would place these two dudes together like that, but we see the matchmaking, oddly enough, as it has been throughout the years. We see another weird one, but I actually kind of like this one. But I don't know. I got to ask you, Kelly, who do you think takes this one?
Oh man, it's Chiesa versus Diego Sanchez.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go with Chiesa, man.
I gotta lean that way too. Just because of exactly much younger, 31, not as much fights. He's only 15-4. He's coming. He got a big win obviously with Condit to Kimura him. But another dude who also came off two close losses too. Once against Kevin Lee and then Anthony Pettis. So we'll see. I think it's just the easy bets, Chiesa. But if you're a betting man, I would love to see what the odds are going to be for Diego Sanchez.
I think Diego Sanchez just loves to stand.
Mm-hmm.
So Chiesa's gonna try to take him down, and he's just probably gonna be taken down at some point. And who knows, man? Just does what Chiesa does. I think Diego just. Man, he used to be like a wrestler. Like, he used to actually just take people down and pound them out or whatever. But he just, I don't know, he just doesn't like to do that. But it's entertaining, so he keeps getting fights, right?
That's true. Yeah, that's true. I think they'll stop him when he says, I got to stop, you know what I mean? Because he's still winning.
I think his pride's getting in the way sometimes.
Yeah, for sure. But maybe he's just odd enough, but to be able to to be able to keep the mindset and the training all together. But who knows? If you're a betting man, place money on Diego because I'm sure the odds are going to be quite stacked against him. I think I guess we should talk about this. The untimely story of BJ Penn. You read about this, Kelly?
Oh, is it the battery thing?
Yeah, he's got a restraining order against him from his. I don't think it was technically his wife. I guess common law wife, his baby mama. Really, he's. Yeah, but he has obviously adamantly denied it, and she's just using this as a ploy to get custody of the kids. But unfortunately, if this is true, BJ, very, very nasty black mark on him. To all the stuff that his ex-girlfriend is saying, threatening his family, threatening to kill his grandpa. Whether it's true or not, we will find out. But where we see this stuff time and time again, similar story with El Kukui, the mental health of these fighters deteriorating and them not thinking straight all the time. Could we see this here? But either way, it's not a good sounding story coming out of the camp. Oddly enough, he is still booked to fight in his upcoming match against Clay Guida. So we'll see how that pans out. I think the UFC will probably cut him from the card. I think they have to. I think they really do have to.
I hope Guida gets a new opponent, though, because I wanted to cheer Guida all night. Just
Yeah. Exactly.
Love that guy,
I
man.
like Clay Guida too. Exactly. I really want to see Clay Guida get another opponent too. I'd highly doubt they wouldn't find a dancing partner for him. But I just wanted to kind of touch base on it briefly. That the real bad news coming out of Hawaii there. If it's true, it's disgusting, and we'll find out down the road.
Imagine BJ losing a Clay Guida though. That'd be pretty sad.
Yeah,
I mean,
that would
it'd
be.
great
Yeah,
for Guida.
it would be. One of the most damning things that came out of that was his ex-girlfriend had said that he's actually been a coke addict for most of his life, and that he's gone off the train. Off the rails again, and that's why she has filed a restraining order because he went a little crazy or something like that. But who knows?
It's sad that that's believable.
Yeah, exactly. It is. It is sad. Sad news all around.
Been fighting for that coke money. He loves the smell of success.
Exactly.
Smells like
Ooh,
coke.
that smell!
Smells like coke.
Can't you smell that smell? It's it's a song by guys who did Freebird.
Okay.
I'm drawing a blank here, folks. I'm drawing a blank here.
Freebird.
Oh shit!
Is that 90s rap? Because I'm good.
Hell yeah! Hell yeah! Alrighty. All that out of the way. Got some new video games this week. Xbox having a mega sale. It was awesome. I could not believe it. Basically got 3 games for the price of 1. Breaking it on down. Xbox over 450 great games up to 75% off. Super nuts. We're talking fucking 5-star titles here. I had a hard time choosing. And I knew I could get, if I played my money right, I could get 3 games out of this deal, and I sure did. I got Astroneer. I'd been talking about it on earlier shows, how I really wanted to get that game. Far Cry 5, $20. Couldn't believe it. Astroneer was like the most expensive game at $26. That I got, and it was like only 10% off. But I had said I think it was $35 normally. I had said if that game ever goes on sale, I'm definitely gonna get it. And boom, went on sale. I got to jump on that opportunity, even though it was only $10, but still $25 for a game like that. Boom, and I went off the script with this one. I was a toss up between 3 games. What I was gonna get. It was either gonna be Witcher's 3 Wild Hunt. Or I was going to get Dead Soul 3, or drum roll please, Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2. I had never even heard of the game really before. I'm familiar with the cartoon series, and I thought, okay, you know what? This could be an interesting game. $17 sold. I got it. It's interesting. It's you kind of play like as I guess in the later storyline of the cartoon, you are the time police. So you got to go back through times through different periods of Dragon Ball as your character and kind of make sure everything goes right and time still flows smoothly. But as you can see, you're going through time, writing time, making sure everything is working. But there's the bad guys in effect going through time, messing it up. And obviously, I think we're going to have a showdown down the road. It's a good RPG, open world kind of RPG content. You can make your character. You can kind of choose what you want him to be, type fighter style, balanced dude, or all close fighter, or like you just use special Kamehameha stuff and shit like that. And are you familiar with the Dragon Ball at all there, Kelly?
I am not familiar with the Dragon's Balls. No, sorry. I'm familiar with Game of Thrones Dragon's Balls. But that starts tonight, right? Sunday, yeah.
I think it is. Yeah, it's a big talk.
Can't wait.
It's a big talk. I know the whole world is in anticipation.
So
No. That's
sidetrack
no,
it.
not at all. No, that's what this whole thing's about. Talking.
All right.
But it is fun. I haven't played a little bit. I just played the tiniest bit of that one. I just wanted to kind of open up both the games rather than play one and then go on to the next one. I kind of wanted to test them all out, get past the tutorials on all of them and see which one I really liked, and then I would hitch my wagon to that game. And that game was Far Cry 5. Great game. Far Cry 5, amazing game. Wow. Super, super fun. Have you ever played any of the Far Cry series, Kelly, at all?
I believe I have. I just can't remember.
Oddly enough, the first one I had played was the Primal one. It was like an add-on to number 4. It was just as and I loved it. I thought it was a really fucking good game. It was super, super good. I was super impressed with just everything with your owls and how the weapons you use and having bears and tigers and shit like that. That was a lot of fun as part of the game. And Far Cry 5, the one thing I can say about it is not for kids. It's pretty gruesome start off. So you know what I mean? So it's this, I can paint a picture for you here. It's northern Montana. The Seed family is planting seeds of evil. Good. It was a good storyline of like this crazy Christian group going nutsy, and you kind of in a rural area where no one kind of goes in, and they got some of the police on their side, so they haven't really been stopped, and they're kind of branding their own Christian justice and doing crazy stuff and poisoning people with like propane, it seems like, or something like that. So everyone's kind of a little bit loopy. So you're like a rookie federal marshal going down there to serve a warrant, and guys at first he's like, yeah, sure, I'll go along with you. I don't care. I knew you were coming. I already told my people you'd be coming, and this is all part of the plan. And you get on the helicopter, and that's when the shit goes crazy. All his like zealot people start like climbing on the helicopter, and then a dude just fucking throws himself into the helicopter blade, and just like all over the place. And then you crash land, and sure,
kid friendly.
I know, super kid friendly. You crash land, and then all your buddies get taken hostage, and you somehow make it out. But it's an amazing storyline. I really, really like it. They really let off, and just the driving of the vehicles is really, really cool. So this guy said you and your other marshal, you escape, and you get a vehicle eventually and drive off, and that was the hard. I was like, holy fuck, I died twice doing it. I'm like, holy shit, this is hard. It was crazy because you had like heal yourself and like fight, hang your head out the window and shoot your gun. And if you didn't shoot and fight off the trucks, your truck would eventually blow up too. So it was intense right off the bat, and this guy saves you, and then boom, he kind of explains what's happening. He's just a conspiracy theorist kind of old dude who's got a bunker and shit. So you got to help people. Really, really good game. Really cool game. I like how they've done stuck to their guns. I hate it when a game from series to series they change too much, and you hate the new game. They stuck to their guns and had a ton of the same stuff with how you shoot and how you fight and just how you change weapons and upgrade your weapons and shit like that. And I really, really like it so much. So far, so good. I've just kind of basically done like I've done the tutorial in like the first mission, and super, super fun. All the weapons you get, it's amazing. Can't say enough about it. So that's kind of the one I've hitched my wagon to. Check it out, Far Cry 5, especially if the spring sale. If you haven't checked it out yet, it's still got tons of time for that. $20, well worth it. Well worth it. The other game, Astroneer, man, was that fun too. But it's kind of, I really like how it is. It's kind of more like a builder, like a random building game, and it's just how different it is for that survival building type game. It's really, really cool. I more got it for my son to play, but I actually, I want to play it tons too. So it was kind of cool that way. Where you're kind of like a space, you're a guy who's like just supposed to be like exploring planets and shit like that, and you crash land on a different planet that you weren't meant to go on, so it's not the end of the world, but you have all this stuff you build your base up with, and then you gotta mine stuff, and it's through mining, but the thing that's always tethering you is you have to have oxygen. You can't just go willy-nilly around the place.
What?
Yeah. Why? Motherfuckers gotta breathe!
Damn! Ain't this the future? Bullshit,
so
man.
you gotta tether yourself. So you always have all these tethers you throw down to connect your oxygen tank. back to your base, and it's kind of a good little thing to have to go back to your base too. So it's cool like that. But the exploring I found was the funnest part. I found some cool, like a cool cave system I didn't expect, and down that cave there's tons of minerals I need. But you're basically mining stuff to build stuff to mine stuff better. You know what I mean? It's a simple game, but how big the universe is and how big your planet is, and just the stuff you can get, it's pretty hard to really get everything. And throughout the game, they've kind of made a way to balance it out. So you still have to get like these little nodes of money. So like it's kind of like a currency. And then in that, you build your shit. We built a tractor, and then on that stuff, you can have tons of different attachments to get power as well. Power is a big thing, but printers. So you got like all these big printers. So they're using kind of that technology in this game. So you're using 3D printers to make everything, right? So I kind of thought that was a cool little touch on it, and everything. The way you have like this little suck up gun, so you can like mold the world around you, kind of like build the ground up or take it all down, and different things you suck up with your gun. You make different materials and you smelt it and turn that shit and so forth and so forth. But you're always finding broken stuff too. So it's really interesting that way. And you see stuff off in the distance too. So like, that's how big the world is. Like you're seeing stuff way off in the distance. Like, oh, what is that way over there? I want to check it out. You know what I mean? But there's deep caverns in your way and shit like that. The one thing I will say, it's a bit glitchy. I lost my tractor. I just turned around and it was gone. Like,
did EA make it? It must be Electronic Arts. Another incomplete game. Is it multiplayer?
It's on like it's actually one of the 20 games that are cross-platform actually.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so this one is Xbox and PC.
Nice.
Which makes it cool. I haven't played online with anybody. I'm sure if you had just because from the trailer, you can build some crazy shit, and you can build some really cool like mining vehicles and stuff like that. There's no enemies in the game, so that's the only knock I would have on it. I've died many a time on my own.
Yeah. If you make like a bunch of stuff and then you play like multiplayer, can someone take it, or is it like whoever smelt it dealt it?
Well played. Well played. That's a great question. I think it's I think you kind of work together, and I think if you were to have someone join, I don't think they can mess. I think that's a great question, because pretty sure you can pick up anything. So I think honestly you probably could take anything that's just lying on the ground.
Lame.
Yeah. Who knows though? Who knows? I like I said, I didn't play any multiplayer on it. But out of those 3 games, man, what a time to have to have it save up for to buy some video games, because I got my bang for my buck. I tell you what, Far Cry 5, check it out. Even Dragon Ball Xenoverse, I'm actually kind of interested in the game. It seems a little bit odd and different, and that's that's what I was looking for. But I am super excited to play those games. Cannot wait. What have you been rocking? Still Apex Legend it up there, Kelly?
Still playing Apex
Nice.
Legends. Played a couple games today. One game, I killed somebody in the beginning, then I got knocked and killed, and then they had to like revive me.
It's first for everything, Kelly. The first for everything.
So I get revived, and I grabbed like some lame weapons or whatever, and I get like no kills up until like the end, and I grabbed like a few good weapons after like my team killed a few more people. Right? They pretty much carried me till the end. So then at the very end, I grabbed a few good weapons, and I managed to kill the last guy, and I got the game-winning kill.
Nice!
Icon
Wow,
so
that must be an
pretty sweet.
achievement. Yeah, that must be. Is that like a diamond achievement to have been revived and then come back to get the last kill?
I'm not sure.
Oh,
I didn't
wow.
get any, I don't think I got any special points.
Oh,
for it.
boo!
Yeah.
Apex Legend. That's got to be an achievement.
I got an achievement for getting the game-winning kill with like 7 or 8 different legends or whatever it was. I don't even remember how many legends there are. I think
Wow.
there's 8.
Holy
Maybe 7.
shit, you've got a game-winning kill with every legend?
Yeah.
Holy shit. What? That's crazy.
It's not that hard. Dude. Like some people,
not that
no,
hard.
you know what? If you hang back and you let your team run in, you could just get the last shot just like after they lit them up and they're like
Yeah.
reloading their guns. I'm
Oh,
not
I
saying
see,
do
yeah.
this 'cause it's pretty douchebaggy. But you could just wait.
Tried, tested, and true by Kelly.
But yeah, the game after that I got second place, so that's not too bad.
Let your buddies do all the dirty work.
The game I got second place, we only had 2 people. The first person dropped out right away, so it's a little bit more difficult when you only had 2 people. But yeah, let your buddy do the dirty work.
Exactly.
Sometimes, man, if you got a good team,
Yeah.
and you're not as good, you should hang back because you don't want to be a liability either. You know what
No,
I mean? And then you can just pick up the death boxes as you go, get better guns like the G what is it? The G Scout, whatever it is.
Yeah.
The light ammo gun. A lot of people don't use it for some reason, but it is so accurate, man. Like if you shoot at somebody, it's gonna hit them like every time. You get a good scope on that, not too much because you can like over aim, right? So I would suggest like a 2 to 3 times zoom. It's probably 3 times the best. You could like hit somebody like every time you shoot. So if your team's shooting at somebody, you're hanging back and you just peg into guys too. It helps a lot, man. Especially if you're doing like cover fire and stuff like that. But a lot of new guys will just be like, I'm gonna be the first one in there, right? And it's like he gets dropped, and it's like, okay, now we have to pick him up and kill these guys.
Yeah, exactly. No, I like that gun a lot too, actually, just because it's not the rapid firiness and it's got packs a punch. It's pretty accurate too.
The Hemlock is pretty good when you put it on single fire too.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's just as strong because the G7 Scout is for like range, where the Hemlock is like a 3 burst.
Nice. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Hemlock's 3 burst. It's not a bad gun too, but it's more close up. I think you know what I mean.
Yeah, I picked up the longbow a couple times.
Wow.
That thing, man. You could do like a lot of damage if that's fully upgraded. I think I got a shot to, like 57 damage, just like one hit once, like somebody's chest, and that was pretty far away too. But yeah, I did some damage with that.
No, it's a good gun. I think I got it once. Yeah, I think I've only got it once or twice even. Still,
the problem with the longbow, it takes so long to reload.
Mm-hmm.
Where the G7 Scout, or I think it's the G7, you can keep shooting. You know what I mean? It's like semi-automatic. You got 10 rounds to start, and then every time you pick up a mag, you get more rounds, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think with the purple mag, you get like 20 rounds in it.
Apex Legend in it up. Good game.
It's a sweet game.
The thing I felt bad for was Final Fantasy VII because I kind of had just started on it, but I was like, man, there's no way I'm just gonna be like, oh, I can't get any new games, even though it's a blockbuster deal of the whole of the last 4 years. I can't get any new good games. You know what I mean? So I was like, I got to live a little on that one and put Final Fantasy VII on the back shelf a little bit. Because I had played it before, obviously, but a long time ago, even though it was a lot of fun.
I don't know if I've ever said my gamer tag on this, but I got some people send me friend invites out of nowhere.
I can believe it.
So if you're sending me an invite through this somehow, just let me know, message me.
Yeah, like, hey, I listened to the show. You guys are cool. Or like, hey, I listened to the show. You're terrible. I want to fucking show what a noob you are.
Yeah. Quick kills. Go for it.
You remember people would always post up all that bullshit, you know what I mean, oh, I'm part of Xbox police and what you've done is illegal and I'm gonna ban you for 10 years. You know what I mean? Stupid shit like that. Remember that shit used to always happen to me all the time. Just the random spam from Xbox 360 where people send me this much money or something like that. You know what I mean? Or else I'm gonna ban you for life or something stupid. Good times. Good times.
First time I got that was on Steam, on PC.
Oh, okay, really?
I was playing Counter-Strike, I think, Source, back in the day, and someone was sending me messages about this and that, asking for my account number and all this.
Yeah, exactly. I know. I could see that on that. That that's more of a computer move. I mean, they're gonna pull that shit on you.
Don't worry, I work for Steam.
So what if my name is always be blazing 42069?
Actually, they'll pick something like Steam Rep 234 or something like that. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
something
yeah,
like,
exactly. Something like
Yeah.
it's totally believable.
oh, Steam rep. There's no way Steam would let you have that.
No, exactly. I totally believe this person. Here's all my credit card numbers.
Oh man, that'd be funny.
One,
Sorry,
no, you go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I wonder how many people actually fall for that.
Probably a handful, enough to make it so people would be interested. People would even think of doing it. You know what I mean? I bet you a handful of people have fallen to it. That's the problem. That's the reason why they keep going at it. One thing I did want to briefly touch base on this week was I've kind of always been involved with loving reviews, like not doing reviews or going places to write reviews, reading on the reviewers. This is a little something I call reviewing the reviewers. And I've always been fascinated by this for some stupid, weird reason. Like just the people that go out of their way to write a Google review. Kelly, you know what I'm saying here? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you were either... But the worst part about it is people who write good reviews. You know what I mean? Like, and the only time you're going to get bad reviews is you're going to get a lot of bad reviews, obviously, because people are going to be upset. They need to have their opinion heard.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But still, just don't go back. You know, that's what business is all about. Not to bitch about it or like people being fake about it. And that's why I love reading the reviews. You really see some of the real psychotic people on this earth reading reviews. I'm telling you, and they're everywhere. They're absolutely everywhere. Some people have made it an art. People do like poems and shit like that, or be funny with it. You know what I mean? But some people take it way, way, way too seriously. Easy enough. The best place to review, McDonald's. McDonald's. Who the fuck reviews McDonald's? Well, I can tell you the local one here, the closest one to us, 658 people sat down and decided to review this one McDonald's. In the lower mainland of Canada, like alone. It's got it's got a 3.2 rating. So you can imagine it's kind of in the middle, but still 638 people wanted to review their Big Mac. Their shitty-ass Big Mac made by a kid in high school making less than minimum wage. You're going to review his cooking skills and the way that the person at the front took your money in between the other 1,000 of people of money they've interchanged with in that single day. You're going to sit down and review them here.
You should review the poop touchscreen.
I would never touch those damn things. Never, ever will I touch one. I'll talk to somebody and hand them money.
2 stars out of 5. Not enough poop on the screen.
1 star. I got salmonella poisoning from using the screen.
Gross.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, man.
But I just kind of want to read, like the first one here. 1 star. And this person's mad. This person is mad. I'm not going to say any names here. But CM gives him 1 star 4 days ago. This guy was upset. I've been going to this restaurant for the last 10 years now, and it's still a disappointing store. So he's been
going for 10 years.
Disappointed since day 1. This is just the first sentence. I'm not making this up. This is just the first sentence. Sure is newly renovated, and I had a very nice look now. But that is the only thing that is new. Customer service is still poor. Lobby is still dirty. No one comes out to clean the chairs and tables. Chairs are smeared with ketchup or something.
What else could this red substance be?
Like, what is he mad about here? Who is he? Like, is he now like, trying to make like a sexual innuendo? Like, oh, people are jizzing in the chairs. Like, what's he really trying to say here? Or something.
Sorry, maybe McDonald's isn't for you.
He really left it open there with the end something. It's not even over yet. And staff just look at you when you're at the counter instead of asking if you need help. I really hope the management does something with the employees and the cleanliness, because this is really bad. ...
He goes up to the counter. He's standing there, like waiting to take his order. He's like, "You should ask me if I need help." It's like, well, you're here, so obviously you need to order something. So just go. Like,
so weird.
That's hilarious, man. They make minimum wage.
10 years, though. 10 years he's put up with this. I say you join their team. Just like, oh, fucking, I'll do it myself.
Yeah.
Give me a mop. I'll mop up for a cheeseburger. That's just the first one. I didn't even dig. That was the first review that was listed out of the 683. That's the top one, because it was just 4 days ago. That's how upset this guy was.
That's hilarious. Imagine him just staring at the girl or the guy behind the counter, staring at her.
Yeah, exactly. And like she's saying stuff, and he's just like not. She's like, I ignored her advances. Here's another one here. This person was obviously quite upset as well. 2 weeks ago, MW says, service was terrible. Waited 15 minutes for them to bring food to my table with their new table tracker system, but it never came.
Dun, dun, dun.
I went to the counter. My meal was sitting on the heated shelf waiting. Another 5 minutes for them to find it and finally hand it over the counter. Food was awful. Obviously old from sitting so long. He even has to write at the end of it, 1 star. giving his 1 star.
No.
That service I received at McDonald's was terrible. I'd be more surprised if I got good service from McDonald's. That's what I'm saying. I would be shocked. I'd be like, wow, I got everything in here.
The food was 15 minutes old. I couldn't eat it anymore. It's garbage. No one has a 15-minute car ride home from McDonald's.
I know. Exactly. This guy was a little off his rocker too. And then somebody what's even odder is the 5-star reviews. You know what I mean? You're gonna I could see giving another like a local business, like a mom and pop store 5-star review. This is McDonald's. You're gonna give like a 5-star review to McDonald's, but this person had such a good review, they went totally out of their way. 4 stars. They're gonna be fair with McDonald's. They're not gonna give them 5 stars. That'd be a little bit too crazy. They give McDonald's a 4-star, but they took a picture. Like, what the fuck? It's McDonald's. Have you never been to a McDonald's before? There's only like a billion of them.
You haven't seen it in McDonald's.
4 stars from MG. This location got renovated this location got renovations and new, beautiful look. Service got improved. And that's it. Short and sweet. 4 stars. Keeping it real.
It's a beautiful McDonald's.
She's keeping it real. Look at all these other people. This person took like 4 photos. Like, what the hell is wrong with that person? Let's see if we can find yeah, that one's a bit too long. Let's go with this one here. Let's go.
Really put her input in, or him. What is this?
This was 3 months ago.
Let's call him CM Punk.
He's got what's crazy because you can see all these people what they review, so you can see the pattern of how much of a piece of shit these people are. You know what I mean? Where they just go around 1-starring review. Because you come across some real fucking crazy ass fucking people. You know what I mean? By delving into what they look at. And this one guy I remember reading up on was just fucking a whack job, saying how he had bought a car and that he eventually got into an accident and he was found 100% at fault because his tires were bald. So he was trying to blame the car dealership on buying a car that they sold him bald tires, and they're like, what are you talking about? You know what I mean? You drove the car for a long period of time after you had bought it. You know what I mean? That's what happens to tires. They wear out.
They don't last forever.
No, I know. Surprisingly enough, he just
Why don't they make some that do?
I hear you on that. I'm with you on that, Kelly.
Come on, scientists.
Get
Do
at
your
it.
smart stuff.
The big oil companies are keeping them quiet.
Oh man, big tire. You're right. They don't want to do that. They say one pair of tires, never have to sire another pair.
Exactly.
Conspiracy. We figured it out on the ANU podcast.
You heard it here first, folks. All right, one more. We'll call it here. JM, 3 months ago. This location is almost always trashy with tons of garbage overflowing all of the cans. Cars driving over layers of garbage in the drive-thru. We ordered 2 McCafe drinks and 2 bagels. Asked to pull into the waiting area for the bagels. Not uncommon. We waited for several minutes with the other 3 vehicles already waiting. Wife finally got frustrated enough that she went inside to get our order. They forgot! It's in caps. It's in caps. And with and only 1 exclamation point. He was only 1 exclamation point mad. They were kind enough to give us a refund, but still, after we left, wife checked the bagel and discovered that they screwed it up anyways. Good thing they're renovating this location soon. Maybe a change of management and a large portion of staff? Question mark? He's got a question mark.
Suggestion, McDonald's? Because you're reading my Google review?
Question mark? Why did you have the question mark at the end? You can't make this shit up. You cannot make this shit up, man. That was I did no looking at all. Kelly will attribute to this.
Man.
I'm just scrolling through the reviews of the local McDonald's.
This shit's hilarious.
I'm just scrolling through randomly and picking random things to say. This shit writes itself.
It could be like, just people of Walmart. It could be like people reviewing McDonald's.
Yeah, exactly. But there's so many more crazy reviews. But McDonald's is the easy one. That's what I've always found. McDonald's is a slam dunk. You know what I mean? These people had a steady diet of McDonald's, so their brain isn't there to begin with. I don't mind McDonald's, but I wouldn't eat there every day. You know what I mean?
For
I wouldn't
10
eat.
years.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh
shit!
Every time.
Shit. Oh fuck. Anywho, we better take a breather here. We got something here with this one, man. We got gold with this thing. Oh, let's take a little breather here. We'll be right back after these brief messages. Golly, this oatmeal tastes like shit. Dry oatmeal's the worst. Try boiled water with your oatmeal today. Golly, this oatmeal is edible now. Just barely.
I ain't coughing up the bits no more. I don't know.
Try boiling water with tea and coffee. Use it with coffee beans or use it with a tea bag.
Use the tea bag.
Try them both together today. Coffee tea. Today. It's not bad. I've tried it before.
Coffee tea?
Coffee tea? I'm sure it's been done before. You just put your tea bag in your coffee.
What is the purpose?
I don't know. It didn't really taste that much different. It tasted a little bit different.
Do you like the taste of tea so much that you want it in your coffee?
No, it just was something I did kind of just as a why not.
I see.
It was one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
I make tea. I throw like 3 tea bags in there.
Yeah, because I'm a 2 tea bag type dude.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. Oh shit! All right, shit.
This is piggy commercial.
These commercials are brought to you by the new Stephen and Kelly new podcast. Water today. Let's keep it rolling here.
Sing it!
Welcome back, folks. We hope you enjoyed our messages, and go grab yourself a tall, cold glass of water on the house. Getting to the UFC this weekend, we actually had a few boxing matches as well. I kind of want to briefly touch base on. Lomachenko continues his reign of supremeness in his division of boxing, beating Krolla, knocking him out of all things as well in the fourth round. This was a dude where everyone had said he's got like 4 times more fights than Lomachenko, but here he goes, Lomachenko. You know what I mean? He goes and does it again. What we saw is what we've seen before. His punches and power. It cannot be beat. I think he's like 145 though. You know, 135 I think. So he's a littler dude. But still very, very tough at his weight at a very young age, at a young part of his career. He's only like 13-1, which is weird for boxing. Usually these dudes are already like 20-1 or 40-0 and shit like that, but he's only 13-1 coming down. But it actually was a good fight. Good for him to win again. One fight that was actually on Showtime Fights that was actually kind of interesting just because by the name I had read about it before the fight. And it was on at the same time as UFC as well. So I was kind of flipping back and forth. Was Clarissa Shields versus Christina Hammer. Can't make this up. It was their real last names. Shields versus Hammer.
Interesting.
Yeah. It was a women's boxing match.
Related to Jake Shields?
No, she was from Flint, Michigan, 2-time gold medal Olympic boxer too. So she had 2 gold medals, and she put it to this Christina Hammer's chick. Christina Hammer's actually Canadian.
He's not related to Mark Hamill.
No. She didn't get his nickname as her last name. She took a beating though. She took a good beating. She was tough. She was a real tall, like tough-looking chick for her weight class too. I think it was heavyweights for girls. I'm not exactly sure what the weight class was, but it actually wasn't a bad fight. They went back and forth. It wasn't a great fight. Am I going to say like one of the best women boxing match of all time? And did this fight garner more fans in the boxing world for women's boxing? No, I don't think it did. It was kind of slower. She put together a good boxing match, though. As a fight fan, I can respect her boxing game as bar none. Really, really good for women. Obviously, her 2 gold medals say that, and the fact that she's undefeated in boxing, and I think she owns like 4 belts right now, so she could go down as one of the most decorated women champion in boxing. But it just wasn't as exciting as it should have been in order to get people talking. Remember like when Ronda Rousey was just armbarring all these women, and I think that's what really got people talking was all her fights were like done in like 30 seconds. You know what I mean? Where this one went to the decision, and it wasn't terrible though. Like I said, it wasn't terrible. I'd check out another Clarissa Shields boxing match for sure. It was a good fight. Let's talk about UFC 236. Holloway versus Poirier. Going down last night. Man, were we ever fucking regaled with one hell of a card. From top to bottom was a pretty decently stacked card. It wasn't bad at all. One dude, how I said, was a mega underdog. He got beat, obviously. He was pretty handily as well. There was a few 30-26 rounds in there. Max Griffin wins. There was a few snore fests beforehand. Alex Pataggio beats Wilson Reyes. You remember, Wilson Reyes actually fought for the 125-pound belt not too long ago, and I thought when he got that fight, he's a Bellator reject, basically. I don't even know why he's in the UFC to begin with. He's a decent fighter. But he had lost in Bellator tons. That's why I was surprised by his signing of in the UFC. But he goes on to lose again. But I'm saying that's when I had no respect for the 125-pound division. Is when Wilson Rice was going for the belt. I thought, how little is the talent pool at 125? I think that's not the problem of the 125. Is the fact of the fights can be kind of boring, and and the dudes are super little. It's the fact that there's not that much talent, and they don't have the personnel. There's just not that many people that are 125. So it's you don't have the population numbers when it comes to the dudes that are that little. You kind of got to get rid of it.
I think if you're good too and you want to make money in UFC, you're gonna go up to 135. Right?
Exactly. And if you're 125, then that's like you at heavy. Then sorry, you know what I mean? Sorry. You just weren't meant to be a fighter. It's okay. You can fight in like TFC or whatever the hell that one is.
I watched some of the early prelims.
Mm-hmm.
The women's flyweight belt, the only women's fight on the card.
Oh,
they
wow.
Should have put that in the preliminaries because that was a good fight. That was an exciting fight. And then it just got like snooze fest to me after that.
There was a lot of decisions.
Up until like the two last fights, the co-main and the main.
There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, 9 decisions. You know what I mean? Out of 13 fights, that's gonna drag on the night for sure. That's the downfall. Sometimes the prelims get you jacked up for a fight, and there'll be a lot of finishes. But the other flip of the side of the coin when it comes to that is sometimes if they're all decisions, it's like then you're let down. But you could be your standards are now low, and they could bring you up, but. You have the adverse effect of wanting to turn the TV off, and I think that's what happens. But you're just going to not watch the prelims.
That Lauren Mueller or something, she came out like she looked like she wanted to, just like end it early. She came out to win. Right?
Nice.
They just had a war, man.
Oh, awesome.
It was crazy.
Polina Botello versus Lauren Mueller. Oh, nice.
To watch it if you haven't.
Yeah.
If you can.
Yeah, check it out.
It should be on the UFC. What do they call it?
The Fight Pass?
Yeah, the Fight Pass.
Yeah, definitely will be. Yeah, that's for sure. Especially because it was the pre-prelims. The pre-pre's. But yeah, Wilson Rice loses. Matt Frivola. I remember watching that one. Jalen Turner. That one wasn't very good either. I hear you on that one. It was supposed to be like the marquee one for the undercard. You know what I mean? Dwight Grant. No, sorry. Skipped one here. Nikita Krylov versus OSP. That was a really good fight, man. Great story for Krylov, man. He had lost to OSP by submission 5 years ago. For their rematch, even Krylov was out of the UFC as well for a few years as well, fighting in Russia. Gets his chance back. Ultimately has to face off against OSP another time and to win this time by submission. Like, wow. That talk about shit. Fighting a dude 5 years later. And then beating him the same way he beat you. That is insane. Talk about a 6 degrees of separation when it comes to that. That is nuts. You can't write that shit, man. You can't write that shit. Especially that 5 years later. That is insane. But cool story. Especially I like Krylov and I like OSP. I like them both. That's why I was kind of actually excited for this fight to see both these guys go at it. And we'll see them both again. Krylov obviously moves up a little bit again, and we'll see both these dudes again. Let's take a look here. Let's break it down. Nikita Krylov, 6 degrees of separation. Oh, he's changed his name because I think his first name was like the Al Capone or something like that. He had like a terrible his nickname. I'm pretty sure his nickname was Al Capone, his first one, but now he's Nikita the Minor Krylov. Weird, even weirder. Lost to Jan Blachowicz before his fight. Beat, he was fighting. Yeah, that was his UFC return was against Jan Blachowicz. But he would fight on Fight Nights Global, where he beat Fabiano Monaldo. Beat Emmanuel Newton? What? Did he really fight? Oh, yeah, Emmanuel Newton round. And also Fight Nights Global. That would actually been a good fight. Huh. I like Emmanuel Newton. He's kind of fallen off really hard as well. Let's go down this rabbit hole. Emmanuel Newton. He was a huge mainstay for Bellator. I think he also fought in MFC as well. Yeah, whoa. Talk about a dude who's really fallen. He was the hardcore kid. I really liked Emmanuel Newton a ton, but man, has he ever fallen off the face of the earth? 1 win from his last 7. Oof. It's not a good stat. Kind of bouncing around, fighting in Fight Nights Global twice, losing both, losing, tons in Bellator, but he had such a good streak. I can't remember what,
I think once you hit 30, you have to change it to the hardcore man.
Fighting at MFC, he lost to Ryan Jim. I remember that was one of his big fights at MFC. Lost to Trevor Pragley too. I remember that one. Trevor Pragley was a tough dude back in the day too. Manuel, the hardcore man, Newton. You still got time in the left. You still got time in the tank.
Big Brown, Conor McGregor.
See, what was Krylov? Because he actually had a pretty good UFC record before leaving too. He was like on a super fight win streak. He was on like 5-fight win streak, loses to Misha Serkinov, and then he just leaves. Weird. Maybe it was contract dispute or something like that. Very, very weird.
Maybe he went to go mine.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. He's getting better offered from some nickel mine in Ukraine.
He's going to rest his lungs.
Yes. My uncle, he has mining business. I go do engineering for my uncle in Ukraine. Number 1 copper miner of all of Ukraine. Are you okay over there? Shit. It must have been good. That was actually a good fight, though. Dwight Grant versus Alan Joboin. I was kind of I was kind of excited for him when it first started, and then both those dudes really took their foot off the gas pedal, and that one goes a split decision. I'm glad I wasn't a judge for that one, and that's the theme for the whole night. I'm glad I wasn't a judge. I think being a judge would be the coolest job ever. But man, that would have been a tough one to call. That's for damn sure. You really had to pay attention. You're gonna be dicking around. You gotta keep your eye on the ball now. I had a Joe Bain though. I thought he did just a little bit more, because I'd give the first round to Dwight Grant for sure. But I think Joe Bain kind of had the last second ones. But can we talk about Khalil Roundtree? Wow, man, what a turnaround! The striking, we got to see a complete striker with Khalil Roundtree. That was insane. I had never seen him this good. I thought this is an easy fight for Eric Anders. This is going to be a super easy fight for Eric Anders. Couldn't have been more wrong. And Anders had no answer for the volley. I felt so sorry for the dude. I love ya boy, Eric Anders. I love him as a fighter. Super tough fighter. And he just got the shit kicked out of him because he had no tape to work off of. This was a brand new. I've never seen a fighter come from one fight to another fight so evolved as Khalil Roundtree. How he had soaked up all that Muay Thai, and was just, that leg kick was so nasty. Time and time again, he destroyed his legs. And it was just basically the one leg too, really. That ate 90% of the shots. But the way he worked the legs with the punches, that was outstanding. Absolutely outstanding. I don't think we've ever seen a more evolved fighter like this, from one fight to another fight. And now Khalil Roundtree is a serious threat at 205. And with that striking he showcased, he kicked the shit out of Anders. I can't believe how tough Eric Anders is to have taken that beating. And even the commentators were even saying, his corner's got to say, hey man, after round 2, they got to be like, let's call it, man. And I totally agreed. He was getting the shit kicked out of him. You know what I mean? What are you going to risk? Getting your leg broken now? Or, you know what I mean? Having a tough comeback? The one thing that I think of too is, this is a statement for Eric Anders to move down to 185, because I believe this one was at 205. But Khalil Roundtree putting his stamp. What did your take on that fight, Kelly?
Oh, it was exciting. It was a good fight. But yeah, like it was just the Muay Thai, right? The leg kicks is what set the whole fight, set the whole pace. You don't really see a lot of leg kicks in that weight class like that. You know what I mean? Like people bouncing around because it's a lot of weight to do that with. But he had the cardio.
Yeah, good call, man. Yeah, good call, Kelly. That's something I don't think anyone's talking about with how good his performance was. No one's really talking about his cardio, and he really put a beat down on Eric Anders for a full 15 minutes. Eric Anders had a decent round in the third, just because he didn't get knocked down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think it was obviously Roundtree was obviously a little bit tired by then, but was still showcasing an aggressive attitude to win the fight. But man, those few punches too. He was really getting the job done with the punches.
Yeah.
That's what was so crazy about that, man. Roundtree. I kind of had him written off too. He lost his Ultimate Fight. He made to the finale for the Ultimate Fighter, lost it. So he was the runner-up, and he kind of bounced around. You know, he lost he beat Gohan Saki, which was a huge win, and then he loses. He gets that nasty KO from Johnny Walker. Now to come out this aggressive with a brand new bag of tricks, I was so impressed. So impressed, man. I can't say enough about that. And he's impressed me. That's hard to do. That's hard to do. Let's get to the co-main event of the evening. Going down for the 185 middleweight interim championship. The interim, I didn't even think it was both interim title fights. It wasn't even really a title fight night. It was both interim title fights. Very weird. Very, very weird.
I call them number one contender fights.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. You don't need to give him a belt. Because you got to sign contract. That's afterwards. You get to sign the contract to be, you're next in line for the belt. You get the next title shot.
You should get one of those like big gold heavy medals. Put around you.
Oh, okay. I like that. Yeah, I like that. And a trophy.
Yeah, something.
And a trophy.
Something you can
Damn
put
it.
on your wall, but not a belt.
Yeah. Good call, Kelly. We're shaving it up here. We're changing rules over here.
You didn't beat the champ. How do you got a belt?
Yeah, exactly. It's not vacated. He just can't show up for the dates. But until that person's beat, you know what I mean? Good fight, though. Great start by Gastelum. To push the pace in the first. I really liked the first round. I really thought he had Adesanya's number, but the second round made it interesting with him clipping him in the jaw there. So he really, I think that was the key round. If he didn't land that one shot in the second round, just clipped Gastelum's jaw enough where he kind of was just sticking his jaw out a little bit, and he paid for it. I think if he could have won that round, it would have been Gastelum's fight easily. But he clipped him, dazed him, and then kind of from there had kind of secured that second round because Gastelum was basically winning, and that was like right in the middle. There was that one went. I think the teeter totter went the way of Adesanya. The third was a quality round for Adesanya. Definitely won that one. But Gastelum wasn't backing down. He took the fourth, and I think that's when everyone was like, oh shit, we got a real fighter hand going into the fifth. 2-2. It was a good back and forth in the fifth, but it was just Adesanya was just too much with that little bit. You know what I mean? The gas tank of Gastelum, as we saw on the show, even with him. Puking and gassing out in the run. He kind of gassed out here in the end, and he got fed shot after shot after shot. I don't think no one has ever beaten up Israel to this point as much as Gastelum has done. But he just comes up short and loses it. Loses the. He'll be back, especially. But he had. I think the whole time, for me, the key to his loss was the height and reach disadvantage he had the whole fight. He was really had to wing them and really had to get in there. And he really, for all of his shots, he had to take something as well. So I think that just kind of, he did land some really good shots, but he always ate something for his trouble as well. Good fight. I kind of had it. It was easily You could have seen this one go either way, but I definitely had it for Israel to take it in the last. What do you think, Kelly, on that one?
Yeah, I did the same as you. I thought he won the first. Israel won the second two. Gaslam won the fourth. And then I thought going into the fifth round that was going to be the deciding round. But I think Israel it was probably like a 2-point ahead.
Yeah.
The last round, you know what I mean? So, yeah, I think it went. Man, I was cheering for Kelvin, though, man.
Yeah, me too.
I wanted him to win so bad. But, yeah, I thought they judged it the way it should have been.
Israel's kind of boring sometimes. He puts on some good shows. He's the new Anderson Silva era. He'll put on some good highlight reel finishes and then bore you for 3 fights. You know what I mean?
I have Robert Whittaker beating him. So.
Ooh, wow. You heard it here first. Yeah, I could see it. Yeah, he did. I don't know. I think cause Whittaker's a pretty big 185. I think that's what's deceiving about him. He's pretty big at 185. So I'd have to see how they size up in order to really see what.
I think Whittaker has that knockout power where Israel just kind of like pieces you up.
Yeah,
for the most part.
That's true.
I think that's going to be one of those deciding factors because Robert Whittaker doesn't quit either, man. He will exhaust himself and still throw. Like he'll be visibly tired and still throwing just as hard and as often as he did in the beginning. So, man, I think it's gonna be a war. I think Robert's gonna beat him though, man.
He's one of those dudes. I don't think he's ever been outworked. You know what I mean? He's been beat up, but I don't think he's ever been outworked. You know what I mean? For a 5-round fighter, he's one of the best. 2 Nigerian-born UFC champs right now, even though one is an interim champ. You know what I mean? What a crazy kind of stat, and good for Nigeria. You know, they make tough people. I think I'd love to see more. I think, hopefully UFC goes over there and starts scouting talent, or maybe they have a Nigerian card or something like that, or they open a UFC gym down there. I think that'd be super cool, something like that. I just hope this really benefits the country and something really positive comes out of it due to these dudes, and that's what you want to see. You want to see these great stories where these guys came from poverty or, war-torn country, and they make the most of their opportunity, coming over to America and, being that hero and then giving back to the community. People love that shit. I love that shit. It's the feel-good story. Everyone wants to hear it. The guy who came from nothing and is now the champion of the world. Who doesn't want to hear that story?
So many good fights for him at 185, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Romero, Jacare, even though they're fighting each other.
Yeah, still.
Yeah, man, Chris Weidman. There's going to be so many good fights.
Yeah, tons of fighters. The 185 division is kind of shaping up right now. Can't say it enough, though. Tough night to be a judge. Tough night to be a judge, man. That brings us to the main event of the evening. Max Blessed Holloway versus Dustin the Diamond Poirier.
Hard to watch.
Yeah.
That is hard to watch, man.
Terrible fight. A terrible fight. I did not enjoy it one bit. Boo. The fans were actually booing a few earlier fights. I thought, it was a tough crowd, but no, this is one of the best fights. I think it was probably fight of the year. It's going to be a tough for anybody to say that there is another fight of the year, because there's always the fight of the year, but then there's the fight of the year when something means something to it. Yeah. You know what I mean? And there's 2 dudes fighting for that number 1 contendership belt, especially Max Holloway trying to chase history to be a 2, a kind of with a 2 division champ with a little asterisk on it. You know what I mean?
Like Connor.
Yeah, kind of like Connor, exactly. But still, to be that guy, and then Dustin Poirier, the redemption man, the guy to come back. Demolition Man should be his new name, because, man, he really, to get knocked out by Connor, to come back and really put a show on, not a clinic. He didn't put a clinic. He put a show on against Max Holloway. And really, really good fight, man. The first round alone, that was, when they come out swinging like that, you're in for either a knockout or one hell of a fight. And, man, they just swinging for the fences right off the bat. Great strategy, I gotta say, though, by Poirier. Obviously, he had a great camp just to swarm him. That's the problem with Max Holloway. It's a lot of people, he's a lanky, tall dude for 145. People sit back, and that plays right into his strategy, or people back up, or what he does is he'll fight off the counter. So someone will attack him, he'll counter, and then in that backup, he's already got a second punch or a kick already lined up in his mind. As soon as I'm going to counter his punch him as he backs up, I'm going to kick him. You know what I mean? And that's Max Holloway's game. So if you back away, you're just playing into his game. Poirier did the exact opposite. I've always said this: move in, move in, move in. You nullify his kicks. His kicks are totally out of the picture altogether. You're obviously got to play with his punches though. That's the only thing. And the thing is, Poirier put him to the test, and he had a good blocking style. You notice he was holding his left arm almost up like this, kind of like a boxing style, like having his elbow hit the get punched. I thought that was a really good strategy by Poirier. Kind of nullified a lot of Holloway's game. And I think we saw kind of a little crease in Poirier's game in his evolution of becoming one hell of a fighter, especially at 155. For him to kind of move up to that division, and he's kind of been at 155 for a long time now, but still, for be a 145 guy to kind of be more than that, and then to move to 155 and really find his groove. Really, really exciting first 2 rounds. Third round though, we see it again. We see almost that 50-50, and Max Holloway kind of come back a little bit. And but when was, I think it was the 4th. Yeah, late in the 4th. Holloway's kind of winning the whole round, and then late in the 4th, he eats that knee, and it just like cut his forehead wide open, blood everywhere. Is gushing like crazy. I thought, it's a nasty enough cut. It's not going to help him out, and I think that kind of helped him out. Fifth, I thought the 5th went to Holloway. Honestly, so I kind of had it first 3 to Poirier, the second 2 to Holloway. But the judges see it 3-2 Poirier, and tough night to be a judge, man. That one could have gone either way, and I wouldn't have been disappointed. I had it Poirier. Who did you have on that one, Kelly?
Oh yeah, Poirier.
Yeah.
Man, it was a bloodbath.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? Yeah, that was a crazy, crazy fight. Super, super back and forth, and Poirier getting the better of the exchanges and just really applying and applying and applying and applying and just never giving up.
Well, if he plans on staying a champ for the next couple of years and Khabib comes back, he should just focus on wrestling with Olympic athletes.
Yeah, exactly.
2 years straight.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because he's got the fighting style down. He just needs to learn how to be a really good defensive wrestler, kind of, or just maybe even a offensive wrestler. Let's break it down here. 6 degrees of separation. Dustin the Diamond Poirier. What was a really cool stat I had even forgotten that they had actually fought was Max Holloway versus Dustin Poirier had fought before too. When the hell was that? Holy shit, a long time ago. 2012. Another redemption fight. There were so many of these 2-time fights on this card. But Dustin Poirier taking the second fight too. That is so crazy. He's got his number. Nuts. For 2 dudes to fight almost 8 years, or sorry, 7 years later. That's insanity. A super mainstay of the UFC. He's never lost 2 fights in a row. That's a crazy amount of fights in the UFC. Dustin Poirier, man. Let's break it down here. Max Holloway. Eddie Alvarez, he TKOs. Justin Gaethje, he TKO'd too. Yeah, no doubt this guy wasn't due for a belt. Holy shit. He body triangled Anthony Pettis. I think it was Anthony Pettis kind of had an injury. And accidental knee with Eddie Alvarez. Can't remember how that one went out. Beats Jim Miller. But he gets KO'd by Michael Johnson, though, back in 2016. He's always had these slight derailments. Yeah, losing to Conor McGregor was a bit of a derailment for him, too. Or, he goes on a 4-fight win streak, loses to Michael Johnson, goes on a 3-fight win streak, loses to Conor. Cub Swanson, he lost a decision. Jonathan Brookins, yeah, that was another dude I thought had the potential to be a champion. Couldn't been more wrong with him. He really, really sucked it up after he won the Ultimate Fighter show. I thought, oh man, this guy's the next big thing. Nope. No. It was terrible. Let's break it down here. Let's go down the rabbit hole. Jonathan Brookins. He's fighting out of Bama now, which is a British organization. He recently actually won by decision Decky Dalton he beat. He's only 16-10 now. Beat Cody Fuller in LFC. Lots of losses. Yeah, he didn't do too well in UFC. Beat Wagner Roca. He beat Michael Johnson though. Oh, that was he beat Michael Johnson on the finale of the show. Oh, crazy. Jonathan Brookins. We hardly knew ye. Great fight. I'm going to call it fight of the year, Kelly. What are you going to say?
We'll see.
Wow. Well, so far, obviously. Yeah, so far.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's only April.
I can't remember like off the top of my head what my favorite fights are so far.
So out of all the ones I can remember as my favoriteest, because I watched it. It's the most recent one I watched.
We'll go with that. It's the best one I've watched that I can remember so far. It's pretty good.
Oh shit. Oh fuck. Super crazy.
What if Conor McGregor wants to come back and fight him now? Since he's already.
Who knows? I think he actually had a positive tweet. Like he didn't do any blow or drink that day. So he actually had a positive tweet saying like that's how a belt is supposed to be fought for, type thing or something like that. Yeah, he actually said something nice. So I think
it's an easy fight.
Yeah.
I beat him once. Now I'm a little bit older and had a little bit more coke.
I thought he'd be bad because it's the battle of the two dudes he had beaten.
Yeah. He
beat Poirier and he beat Holloway. You know what I mean? So it'd be the battle of the two dudes. But that was before Conor was a total prick. That's when Conor was humble. When it was be humble Conor. Oh shit. Time we sitting out here. Doing pretty good actually, you know. Anything else you want to talk about, man? Good fights, yeah, good fights.
Pretty good, yeah.
Next one, there's the Russian card coming up next. I was looking at it the other day and I was like, it's not a very good card, to tell you the truth. Oh, because I had to watch it. I think that's the next one. Yeah, it's next weekend, the 20th. Yep. Overeem versus Olenek. And that's the only really names is the main event, really. Islam Makhachev versus Armin Taskuya.
16-1 versus 13-1. Interesting. 12.
Yeah, 12-1 versus 6-2, dude.
No.
Yeah, that guy's. Ivan Shturtakov versus Devin Clark.
Guys were fighting. Like who they were fighting? You should fight some names, man.
Yeah, I know. I think they did a good job with having all the Russians, but I think they had too many Russians against Russians on that card. I think they should have Russian versus American, Russian versus a Chinese guy, Russian versus a German guy, Russian versus a British guy, Russians versus everybody, Russia
Canadian
versus
guy.
the world, yeah, Russian versus Canadian guy, Russians versus the world, live in St. Petersburg. Fuck, anything you want to talk about, buddy?
No, I think I'm good, man.
Ruckusing it up?
Yeah,
It's been a bit too rainy.
Yeah. PC.
Ruckus in the rain. Ah, fuck. Show number 30 in the books. Man, keep crapping them out. We keep crapping them out, y'all. Check us out on Twitter. Stephen and Kelly's and new podcast. That's what it is now. Stephen and Kelly's and new podcast. It's just at and new podcast. I haven't changed the full name yet. I was just kind of wanted to hammer out if it was going to be Stephen and Kelly or Stephen Kelly. But I think we're going to go Stephen and Kelly. Hammered it out here, folks. Well, for co-host extraordinaire Kelly, my name is Stephen, and you've been listening to the And New Podcast. Signing off.